Good morning. Good morning, fellow travelers. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. Here we are in Pahrump. And let's see, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning. Yep, about 6 o'clock in the morning. This is the Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help you get from where you are to someplace better. We used to say, we're no longer going to say from someday I'll to Successlandia, because from Darren Hardy's talk this morning, we're now adopting his view, the view he's advocating, proposing, of life as a journey. There is no destination. There is no Successlandia. It is just a journey. And our duty, our opportunity, is to make the most of that journey. That's it. There is no destination. So red letter down below, Darren Hardy. Good morning, Wada Bebby. How are you? This is the final day. And back to North Carolina for you. But here we are now. Here we are. So life is a journey. We're looking at now, life is a journey. There is no destination. It's the journey. And that's kind of a stoicism thing, that the obstacle is the way. The obstacle is the way. Yes, Sophie's going to Virginia, not Virginia, not North Carolina. So, no North Carolina, just to Virginia. Okay, got it. All right, so let's see, where are we? Today is Tuesday. Yes, people will be doing class alone. We've got some great videos for today. This is day 2, week 3 in Outside Our Skull Size Kingdom. So yesterday was day 1. How do you get people to do what you want? How do you get power? And David Logan says it's simple. Join tribe, nudge forward. Just that. Join tribe, nudge forward. The question today is, how do you nudge? And Seth Godin talks about that, a 4-step process. How do you nudge people forward? How do you lead? How do you get people to do what you want? And it's very basically simple. He lays that out. So you guys are going to be talking about that today, maybe reviewing the thing, who knows what else. And let's see, let's talk about this concept of the journey. Down below, the meme is, what if you thought of your life as a journey? That there is no destination. It's the journey. And so if we look at, again, we go to the spiritual side, we look at the Jesus side. Jesus side, okay, said Jesus, from Jesus' perspective, he said 2 final things. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love one another as I have loved you. Which means to the level that you'd be willing to put down your life for them. Okay. So how would you operate your journey that way? If your life is a journey and that's what you were going to do, that was all you had to do. Here's a gift of life. I'm giving you life. All I'm asking is you can do with it whatever you want. If you want to make me happy, if you want to reciprocate, just do these 2 things. Love God with all your heart and mind and soul, and love one another as I have loved you. Be willing to sacrifice for them. Don't sacrifice them for you. Don't manipulate other people for your own end. Okay, so we got that. Let's see what else. Advice from an 80-year-old. Be brave. Even if you're not, pretend to be. No one can tell the difference. Very good advice. Be brave. Seek uncomfort, etc. Red letter again, Darren Hardy down below. The truth behind the never-ending discontent revealed. And the truth is, we're always looking up at what we don't have. This short thing says we need to look down and see how far we've come. It's the journey. It's not the destination. There is no goal. Whenever you get to the top, I think it was Fortune magazine, maybe 20, 30, could be 40 years ago, did a story on somebody. And the question was, if you could go back 20 years to tell yourself in your early 20s, what advice would you give yourself? If you could go back and give yourself advice when you're in your early 20s, what advice would you give yourself? And the person, it might have been Richard Branson, I don't remember. The advice from the person was, hey, so this is advice from somebody who's really successful, giving advice to themselves in their early 20s before they were successful. So just imagine it'd be like Elon Musk today, going back in time to have a conversation with himself when he was in his early 20s. What would the advice be? And this person said, what I would say is, when you get to the top of the mountain, meaning when you've accomplished everything that you set your sights on, when all of your goals are accomplished, when you get to the top of the mountain, there's nothing there. There's no reward at the top of the mountain. There's nothing there. It's the journey up the mountain. That's what it's about. The journey up the mountain. It's not what you're going to find because there's nothing there. It's the journey. Okay, which again goes back to Darren Hardy, right? Goes back to Darren Hardy. So I think what has happened is, especially through the Protestant Christian approach to life, is we're focused on the destination. The destination is salvation, eternal life with God. That's the destination. And if you frame your life around the idea that there's a destination, as Darren Hardy says, you're always going to be disappointed about the things that you don't have. And in Protestant Christianity, you never get to the destination while you're alive. You have to die. So how do you, if your focus is on the destination, but you don't get that until you're dead, what do you do in between to punctuate life suffering? Oh, yeah. Go to Walmart on Sundays. Make shopping part of your routine. Be self-focused. What can I do to make myself happy right now? Because life is suffering. But part of our Copernican revolution would be, if there is no destination, it's the journey. It's the journey. It is the walk with the Creator. I don't want to go down that path too deep. It's the walk with the Creator. It is the journey. Now, if it's the journey, does shopping at Walmart have that much value anymore? No, shopping at Walmart doesn't have that much value anymore. Just doing things like smoking, always having to go light up, have a cigarette because you need that little nicotine hit or whatever it is. Does that become important if you're focused on the journey, right? If you're focused on the journey, you're like here and now, what's going on right now, as opposed to something way off in the future. So, where are we at for time? It's such a runic rhyme. Good morning, Mitch. Good morning, 9:04 in. Okay, let's talk about some practical things. I will be there close to 7:30. I will have to pick up Deborah and anyone else who cannot walk, but I also have to bring, so maybe one person, I also have to bring the food. I'm going to tell Drake to pick the food up at Well, let's see. Is anybody going to be there? Is anybody going to be at a brighter beginning between 11 and 1 versus at honeysuckle? Probably people are going to be at honeysuckle up until lunchtime at 1. At least they should be till noon. There's plenty of studying to do. People do the worksheet. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to bring the boxes of food that we picked up yesterday and put them in the lobby. If somebody could bring the cart that's in the kitchen area, the 4-wheel IKEA cart, if somebody could bring that into the entry area so I can quickly unload the cart. All right, and let's please make sure, Mitch, bring the UAs. Please bring the UAs with you. So just in case something happens, I get distracted and I forget. I don't want to have to go back. I don't have time to go back. So, but yes, I will be there close to 7:30, 7:45. I'm going to be at a brighter beginning around 7:30. I think it might be possible to put the boxes in the car. I don't know, what do you think? How many boxes do you think we have? Like, you did empty out one of them. So maybe we could have one seat down and I can take 2 passengers who can't walk, like Deborah and I don't know, whoever else. Also, Becca, I need to have a few minutes to talk to Becca, but we have a rule. You lose your job, you lose your bed. When you walk out of work, when you quit, okay, you felt you had to do the right thing, but we can't have you stay because now everybody will say she quit. Not only did she get fired, she quit. She walked out at the part of the shift. She left the store with no help. And so she can't stay. But I don't want her packing her stuff up with nobody there. So somebody has to be with her the whole time. Now, if Natasha wants to come pick her up at Honeysuckle, bring her back, help her pack, take her someplace, that's okay. So what do you think about that, Mitch? But this goes across, this is not something new. This has always been our thing. You lose your job, you lose your bed. And we'll tell people from this point forward, if you feel you have a problem at work and it becomes overwhelming, say, I need to take a break for a second. I'm getting overwhelmed, I'm getting anxious. Our employers know that. But do not quit unless you don't want your bed. Okay, but there's a couple boxes of cauliflower. There's a box of cauliflower. There's a box of, well, okay. So the stuff we are not going to eat, we need to give to Drake today. And probably, Sophie, most of that stuff you put in the refrigerator, we probably need to put back in a box so I can bring it so Drake can give it to people who are actually going to eat it. Because I noticed in the refrigerator in 1409, there's all of that fresh asparagus that's now rotted and needs to be thrown out. Hopefully it has been thrown out. Okay, so let's focus on food for Drake. I need to take that to Honeysuckle. We need to, Rebecca and anybody else. I mean, this is just the policy. I mean, it's in the thing people sign. You lose your bed, you lose your job, you lose your bed, and you quit working. You don't have a job anymore. This is clearly not the program for you. We can't help you. This program cannot help, and we cannot change the program to fit the needs of every person. This is a works program. This is a program for people who want to go from where they are to someplace better, but you have to be employed through employment. Let's say it that way. This is a place for people who want to go from where they are to somewhere better through stable, meaningful, livable wage employment. There's other ways to do that. You could join a convent, probably. You could be, I don't know, there's a lot of other ways to do it. But this program is designed for people who want to leave the past behind and have a better life through stable, meaningful, and livable wage employment. And that's what we help people do. Okay, now, on the other hand, we do have two other programs right now because we have empty beds. And one program is, if you pay, you can stay, as long as you're not interfering with our operations. As long as you're not interfering with what our program is and you pay, you can stay. Or if somebody else pays for you, as long as we have empty beds and someone else is paying for you and you're not interfering with our program, you can stay. But our program is for people who don't have money but have the ability and desire to work, to learn what they need to learn to have stable, meaningful, and livable wage employment. And one of the challenges our people have, and everybody should be watching this, is you're too quick to run out to get on the rat wheel that you're not going to be happy for because you don't have the skills. There is a relationship between education. Let me say it this way. Let me go back because time is racing. There's 3 stages in life, period. This applies everywhere. Learning, earning, and yearning. The more you learn, the more you earn, the less you yearn. Everybody goes through those 3 stages. What does Elon Musk yearn for right now? Youth, health. Everybody goes through these 3 stages, but the more you earn, the more you learn, the more you earn, the less you yearn. Our people start out with low learning and they want to jump into earning, and they're scrambling around chasing money. You don't chase money, you get in the path of money. Here's where money's going. I need to get in the path of the money and get some. But you need to have the skills to get there. No one is going to pay you $20 an hour if you're not worth to them at least $40 an hour, because they need to make money. They need to pay their bills. So if you're not making people money, they're not going to pay you. And if you don't have skills or you have an attitude, they're not going to hire you. If they don't trust you, they're not going to hire you. So we are willing to invest time and energy in people who don't have money but have a desire to leave the past behind and have a life of meaning and purpose through stable, meaningful, and livable wage employment. You need to adopt the attitude of students as opposed to people who know everything, who think they know what's best for them. Because if you actually knew what was best for you, if you had a mentor, if you had a coach, if you had people telling you what to do, if you could rewind the clock, you would probably say, you know what, I should have spent more time in school. I should have learned the things that people know. And one of the other things that's very funny is people who are not educated have very little idea of what educated people know. They think they only know a little bit less than what educated people know. And the more educated you get, you realize how little you do know. But people who are not educated tend to have this inflated idea of what they know just because they're able to maneuver in the world. So people, please, it's really simple. If you want us to invest in you, you have to do the two things we ask for. Always do your best. Always do your best. And I'm not going to comment on that because time is racing. Always do your best and just do what we ask you to do. If I say, I don't want to see any cigarette butts on the ground, don't throw cigarette butts on the ground. If I say, keep the place clean, keep it clean. If I say you need to wear shoes, find a way to wear shoes. It's not hard. Now, if you want to drive your car, if you want to pay to be here, super, you can do that. If you want us to invest in you, the quid pro quo is do what we ask you to do. It's really simple. If you don't want to do it, that's okay too. That's fine too. Okay, so time is racing and everybody's got a lot of stuff to do. You've got 1 hour to get ready. I've got to get on the Peloton and do a bunch of other stuff. Leave here within about an hour to get there. So Sophie, if you could get the boxes of food just kind of how we left them so I can quickly load up the car, make sure Deborah is there, have a conversation with one of you, Mitch or Wadabevi, with Natasha to figure out what we're going to do about Becca and changing the locks. That's just part of standard procedure. It's no value judgment on her, no belief that she's going to steal. It's just this is the policy, this is the procedure, this is how things work. Everybody wish her well on her journey. No value judgments. This just isn't the program for her. You know, some people join the Army and they find out, oops, this is not really what I was expecting. So, you know, somewhere out there, if she continues her journey, somewhere out there, if she stays clean, hitches her wagon to something good, everything will work out. So with that, and I will say, and cut. Oops.